I guess to start this recording, welcome everybody to the post Let's Play chatter of Destiny 2 Edge of Fate, where I kind of talk about everything regarding the Nine, what it means to come through in Destiny, what is this in terms of it being Eldritch horror, and it's how it's a kind of a different look and a different take on it, as well as just what's to come in Destiny, and like, how does this all work, right? What is it that everyone's doing, and what are we doing to kind of fit into this larger narrative? So for those of you that don't know, hello, my name is Shadow. I am a VTuber. Well, I've been a long time Let's Player, but really kind of starting to really find my groove in how I want to operate as a Let's Player and just a commentarian journalist of video games. And with Destiny being like my main go-to game that I still play to and defend to this day, that I enjoy this. And like, I just want to talk to my like-minded peers of just like, what are we doing next? What's happening next? What are we fighting? Why are we fighting? You know? And so with this recording, podcast topic, what have you, I want to talk about Eldritch Horrors, Gambit, and the Nine, and how all of these things tie together. And Bloodborne, too, because I enjoyed my Bloodborne outfit when I created it during episode 2 last year during Revenant. So we're kind of on the hot seat right now. We just finished the campaign. Lodi just became the ambassador, and now we're here to unlock more secrets of Kepler. So, with Destiny starting to reach the realm of cosmic horror now, this in itself is horrifying, right? One of the big things that stands out of Eldritch horrors is the concept of eyes. Bringing this into from the realm of Call of Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft, as you may know, and in this case, oh cool, I forgot this is a mechanic where if you're in high cover, you can actually just lean over and shoot. Sorry. This here honestly feels a lot similar to that, and like these things are like eyes. They're just veiny, bulbous. If you remember when I did my Bloodborne Let's Play, we ended up going through like one of the castles, and we started like dealing with like all of the alien beings. Like Drifter said, there are aliens, and then there are aliens, and these guys are aliens, like extra-dimensional beings that are larger beyond our comprehension. Like we were saying, in oh goodness, in the last episode, in the last recording, during the finale, of how a lot of this is an embodiment of... Nope, I lost my train of thought. I am so sorry. Oh, yeah. In how the Nine are like, beings beyond our own, that they cannot exist in our dimension. Futurama did this with their interdimensional drift episode, where the professor created a machine where we can split into another dimension to skip and jump forward, right? Now, at that point in the episode, as soon as the two ships hit each other, they became flat and ended up in another dimension. And the thing about that is, if we as humans, cannot exist in a painting, that's what's happening there. Where, 3, basically an extra-dimensional being could not exist in our timeline, because then he would get smushed and just crushed, basically. And so that's what Maya Sundaresh did, is she managed to pull 3 out of the realm of the Nine, out of the dimension of the Nine, and crush him, bringing him back into our reality. That's why he exploded, right? How do the Vex do this is because Vex, in their paracausality, they approximate it by running simulations until they get it right in the code. Until they can basically make themselves run through that. And with Maya now having the powers of creation from the Shard of the Traveler, means she can create things out of her control. Like, Oh, I don't know how to put it. Basically, with space magic, she was able to pull him out of the other dimension and into our reality, effectively crushing his organs and destroying him. The way I slowly figured out what it means to be like a fourth dimensional being, as of recently, is being a video editor. Right? I've had my share of editing videos, but the way they say that the nine can see all of time in all of its complexity and all of its range, beginning, middle, and end, and they create a future they want to see. They manipulate pieces from the past into the now, and they just take hints here and there. So like when Lodi was answering the phone to get dragged into here, when Ikora was driving through the streets and the valley, like, and when she got hit and when she had her first death, that was the Nine's involvement. To get us here, we just kind of came here on our own. We bumbled our way here, but you know, they nudged us here and there. They saw the collapse happen. They knew that the Witness was going to be able to destroy Earth, right? That's the kind of powers we're dealing with here. In the same vein as when we were dealing with the Taken during the last sequence of being able to pull between dimensions and cut through space, right? This is something similar in that, except like they were saying with Minotaurs, when they're able to jump through time and like teleport to attack us, it's like that. There's a lot of powers that are just beyond our comprehension that, if you really do think too hard about it, it's gonna hurt your brain. So let's talk about aesthetics then. Normally, whenever we talk about Eldritch horrors, we talk about tentacles and eyes, right? Like Voidpunk as a concept, where you forsake your humanity and kind of become another being of some kind. TV-headed robots or shapeless forms, right? Amorphous beings with lots of eyes. Biblically accurate angels, so to speak, right? That's what Eldritch horror is. And a lot of times when it comes to Eldritch stuff, people think it's like a dark and grim thing, like the horrors of the unknown that would rip your mind in half. Where Warhammer 40k is grim dark, and the opposite of that is like noble bright, right? Where you actually expect the good thing to happen in the end. This is kind of like the polar opposite of that aesthetic. I'm pulling like from two different straws here, but as you can see, here in this world design, it's a lot brighter, right? Whereas when we were dealing with the Taken, and when we saw all those tentacles and tendrils, it was dark. When we were looking at Bloodborne, all of it was dark, right? Here with the science fiction, they're using dark matter, and with this mycelioid thing here, that it's a dense enough material that it's basically kind of like a hive mind type thing happening, but it's more bacterial than it is like kind of like some kind of just mind control powers, right? They quantify the mind control through these through Mattermorph, basically, which is awesome. So yeah. Sorry, there's a lot going through my brain that I was just trying to like figure out and word dump at you all. But basically, the density of the structure here means that we can match on the frequency of the 9, and that's why we're able to deal with 3 and all of this stuff and move around the space that we do, and having this ability now at our disposal, because now we don't have the singularity blocking us. We're not limited to our abilities anymore. Now, what does any of this have to do with Gambit and speculation for Renegades? Now, back in Destiny 2, after Forsaken, in Season of the Drifter, right? One of the big things that came about was hold on. World map guide destinations. There we go. Let's go back to our main tower, right? So, this is going to be a funny timeline of Destiny. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I have a point here I can do. I can do a PowerPoint presentation here in Destiny. So, With Renegades coming up, the future's unclear. Dive into the criminal underworld and take down an evil empire. Venture into a lawless frontier and reveal deeper mysteries about a new Dredgen in Seoul. Build your power, credits, and notoriety. This is basically the Star Wars DLC, as we're about to call it. So, Reclamation. So our next thing is going to be Reclamation. That's going to be like the next season. And then this is going to be happening later this year in the winter, right? So this was summer, fall, winter, and then January, spring range. And the story continues with Behemoth. So let's go back in time to Forsaken, right? During my favorite era, Season of the Drifter. The Drifter upped the ante on his gambit. Much into the Vanguard's disappointment, Guardians made a choice, to spy on the Drifter or to work more closely with him. Guardians learned bits of the Drifter's past that the Nine are patrons of his endeavors, and when he knew their emissary days past when they were both different people. So this is relative to now. This is relative to now, actually. In that Drifter and Orin, they ran together in the past. They have a long history together. We're about to learn more about that history. I'm pretty sure that's what the next expansion, the next season is going to be about, is exploring the Drifter's history with Orin, as well as just the ramifications of the Nine, of what happened with Three's death, and how the Nine are going to be dealing with us, and that Lodi is now the ambassador, right? In that, basically the Nine are like the shadow puppeteers of the universe. Forces beyond our comprehension. Now, coming back to it, with Season of the Drifter, Gambit got overhauled super hard in that we had Gambit Prime, where we can summon a larger primeval, and that every time we killed the Taken and we killed all of the enemies of humanity, that their essence turned into motes of dark, right? Back in Destiny 1, we had motes of light, which gave us XP. That was, just fonts of light that were concentrated. In this case, these are fonts of darkness that are concentrated. And every time we dunked it, we were powering up Drifter's large, the hall. That thing back here, right? And so with us dealing with that and supercharging it, that's how we were able to basically take a defibrillator to 3 and jumpstart its heart and bring it back to life. That's what happened there, right? That's what we just did at the end of Edge of Fate. So what does this mean going into Frontier, or into Renegades? A lot. So Gambit Prime, I really do hope comes back, because then that means our role as Gambiteers. Oh, I love that. And I hope that the Warlock Honor, basically the Inquisitor of Destiny, right? She is like judge, jury, and executioner type character. During Season of the Drifter, we got to choose whether we sided with Drifter or the Warlock. At this point now in time, it doesn't matter. Hello, Catalado. And so here, now with us dealing with Gambit coming back, relevant, who knows what we can do with that much power in the hall again. Because we've gotten to go into the hall a couple times already. The one dungeon that we have is Prophecy. How does this tie together? We are in the realm of the Nine. We are going into their dimension, right? That is what's happening. Yeah. And so with the Prophecy dungeon, we're going inside there. With the other PvP maps, we are inside the realm of the Nine. This is why I was so adamant about Trials of the Nine, out of things of that nature, because we're dealing with stuff that is not based in our universe, and that things are going to get crazier with it, right? And so, yeah. So what does Renegades have to do with what's happening right now with Gambit and the Eldritch entities of which we are dealing with? In this case, with the Drifter, oh no. With the Renegades happening and we're dealing with the Dredgens, Season of the Drifter focused on being a Dredgen, because he was Dredgen Hope. What is a Dredgen in the lore? It's basically a guardian who turned evil. That's kind of what it is. They are light killers, meaning they are... We're going into a hive of scum and villainy. That's what's happening. Because during Season of the Drifter, we created a weapon that could kill a guardian. My favorite one, malfeasance. And so what does that have to do with this? It was meant to kill Shin Malfur, the man with the golden gun, the one who perma-kills guardians who have lost the way, who have strayed from the light of the traveler, right? So, tying that back with renegades to Gambit Prime, I'm really hoping in Renegades we get Gambit Prime 2.0, and that we can like reclaim ourselves as Sentinels, Invaders, Collectors, and Reapers. Like, I want those roles back. I want 3-round Gambit back. I like new Gambit. I like old Gambit. I love Gambit, but like, it's just the way it's mismatched and mishandled at the moment. So that way we can use the Hall again to supercharge our powers and deal with the 9 and effectively be their weapon. Like, if Lodi is the voice, if Ikora is the mind, we are the hand. We are the tool. Like, we are gonna be their way to enact their powers in this universe. But we'll do it our own way, right? They're asking us to do something, we're just gonna do it ourselves in the way that we do it best. And that's what's happening in that's how Season of the Drifter ties to everything we're doing now. And that's why I love Season of the Drifter so much, because A, we get to know more about him, and B, like, at first when we meet Drifter, he seems scummy, he seems scary, he seems shady. But now with where he's at, with who he is like the guy. Like, he is our go-to esoteric, knowing the larger picture of what's happening and how we all play into this. So yeah, there's my big ass rant about the future of Destiny, Eldritch horrors, and just, yeah, I agree with you on that one. And just, what is our place in all of this? What is to come? We don't know. But hopefully we get to see Warlock Honor, or at least like get to see some more about her. I hope we get to see some more about like just the Dredgens again coming back, because now apparently there's a new Dredgen in town. And the reason I'm bringing up the Dredgens is because Yor was the first light killer, basically, or like one of the ones who found a way to perma-kill a guardian. Like, they're the reason that Thorn exists. They're the reason that the Last Word exists, and now we're the reason why Malfeasance exists, right? There's a whole lore story about the oh goodness me, what was it? Oh yeah, the story of Rose, the hand cannon, how we brought it back multiple times, and how Rose became each of those guns. So yeah, that's just something that we're gonna get to look into in the future of Destiny, as well as, you know, more tools, more toys, more big bads to deal with, and what's gonna happen with all of our with the coalition, with all of our friends out there that we are now teamed and tied with. And thankfully the Ionians can breathe another day. Yes, you stabled the nascent singularity and preserved us and our holy anomaly at once. Others may hesitate to invoke your violence, but I see clearly you have been a perfectly efficient solution. Thank you. Oh yeah, no. Listen, if these things are blocking your path, we're here to stop them. Doctor? Or Dean, I mean, sorry. Yeah. Lightbearer. Giver blessed. Champion. Through Kielsk's voice again. False Archon is no more. Lodi tells Kielsk of House of Peace, of Light. He looks to you, as asking for permission. Kielsk, one day go? Absolutely. Honestly, I'd love to see Kielsk. You know what? What if that's how we're gonna help out, what if that's how we help out, oh goodness me, Mithrax and the House of Light? What if that's how we're gonna stop the final god of pain? What if that's how we stop him? What if that's how we're gonna stop Nezarec? Through this. Through Kielsk, through Mattermorph and Matterspark and all of this, and like the Hive technology, the Hive mind. What if that's how that's happening? I'm calling it. That's how we're gonna help out, like with House Light and getting House Exile to team up and join us in the future. As for the Vex and their temporal situation, that's something we're gonna have to learn and figure out on our own, and how that fits into the larger picture of this game. But yeah. One other thing I do want to talk about is just like how this reminds me of like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, where if you go back and rewrite the past, you fuck up a lot of the future, which is a lot of fun. So wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff is going to be happening here in Destiny. Oh, there's the hall. Yeah, I hope we get to go back in there a lot more now. So yeah, and there you have it. There's my thoughts, ramblings, and rants for what's to come with Destiny 2, with Edge of Fate, and just Eldritch abominations, entities, and horrors, and what I can understand therefore of and lack thereof. I hope you'll enjoy that. You guys know what to do if you're watching the VOD and the video. As for the live stream, we're gonna slowly wrap up, and yeah. So end recording.